Hello students, so today let's study about what is environment, its various features, components. So the word environment, it means everything that surrounds a living organism and affects its life. This includes air, water, soil, temperature, light, and other living organisms. Organisms and their environment are dynamic and interdependent. Dynamic means continuously changing. Interdependent means organisms and environment depend on each other, and organisms change the environment and the environment changes organisms. For example, plants release oxygen leading to environment changes. Pollution changes air, which further affects humans and animals. So the word environment comes from a term meaning around or surrounding. Scientifically, environment is equal to surroundings of an organism. It includes everything biotic as well as abiotic that surrounds an organism. So you can see environment has two major components, biotic and abiotic. Biotic includes living components, plants, animals, microorganisms, and abiotic include non-living components, air, water, soil, light, temperature. Example, for a fish, biotic factors include algae, other fish, and abiotic includes water, temperature, oxygen, pH. So biotic factors, living things that influence an organism. For example, predators need food to survive. Means availability of prey means predators need food to survive. Example, lion depends on deer. If prey decreases, predator population decreases. Then competitors. Competitors are organisms that need the same resources, food, space, or light. For example, two plants competing for sunlight, animals competing for territory. Predators. Predators hunt and eat other organisms. For example, snake is predator of frog. Predators control population size. Parasites. Parasites live on or inside a host and harm it. For example, tapeworm in humans and lice on humans. Then abiotic factors, these are physical and chemical factors that affect life processes like ambient temperature. Ambient temperature means the surrounding temperature. For example, polar animals adapted to cold and desert animals adapted to heat. Then amount of sunlight. Sunlight is essential for photosynthesis and biological rhythms. For example, plants grow poorly in shade and long day plants need more sunlight. pH of the water. pH measures acidity or alkalinity. Example, fish will die if water becomes too acidic, and aquatic organisms, they need specific pH range. Soil. Soil provides support, water, nutrients. Different crops grow in different soil types. Physical environment. Soil. Soil is a major part of the physical or abiotic environment on land. It is a mixture of weathered mineral rock particles, organic matter, water, and air. So weathered mineral particles means broken rocks. Organic matter means dead plants, animals, microorganisms. Water from dissolved nutrients. Air, it is needed for root respiration. So soil is not just dirt, it is a living system. And the study of soil is called pedology. Means pedology is a branch of science that studies soil formation, soil classification, soil properties. Then weathering and soil formation. Soil forms when rocks break down over long periods. So first, physical disintegration. Rocks break into smaller pieces due to heat, cold, wind, water. For example, cracks form in rocks due to temperature changes. Then is chemical decomposition. Rocks change chemically due to reactions with water, oxygen, acids. For example, rusting of minerals. Then soil types based on location. Soil is classified based on how and where it is formed. Residual soil. Soil formed at the same place as parent rock. It is not transported. For example, plateau regions. Then is your transported soil. Soil moved from its place of origin by natural agents like colluvium. It is the soil which is moved by the gravity. Landslides. Alluvium. Alluvium, which is the soil deposited by rivers. It is very fertile. Glacial, soil deposited by glaciers. Aeolian, soil deposited by wind. Soil composition. Now, soil is compared to a recipe because it is made by mixing different ingredients in specific proportions. Part 1. The mineral ingredients. Sand, 0.05 to 2 mm. Now, it has larger particles, good drainage capacity, poor nutrient holding capacity. Silt, medium particles, smooth texture, moderate water retention. Clay, less than 0.002 mm. It has very fine particles, high water and nutrient holding capacity, poor aeration. The relative proportion of these defines the soil texture. Means soil texture depends on how much sand, silt and clay are present, like sandy soil, clayey soil, loamy soil. Part 2. The organic ingredients. Soil organic matter. Now organic matter, it improves the soil fertility and structure. Living biomass includes bacteria, fungi, earthworms. They help decompose organic matter. Detritus means dead remains of plants and animals. Humus means dark, stable, organic matter formed after decomposition. Humic substances or non-humic substances, they improve the nutrient availability and soil structure. Okay, now this slide explains the three important components of soil: air present in soil, water present in soil, and vertical arrangement of soil layers, means soil profile. So first is soil air. Soil is not solid throughout. There are small spaces between soil particles called the pores, and these pores contain air. Mixture of gases in soil pores not filled with water, means when pores are not filled with water, they contain air, and this air is called soil air. Oxygen and carbon dioxide are important for processes like nitrification and denitrification. Means, roots need oxygen for respiration. Microorganisms in soil use oxygen and carbon dioxide, and nitrification is conversion of ammonia to nitrates, which needs oxygen. Denitrification is conversion of nitrates to nitrogen gas, which occurs in low oxygen. So if soil is waterlogged, means there would be no oxygen and it will lead to suffocation of roots. Then soil water, hygroscopic water, a thin film around the soil particles. It is held tightly and unavailable to plants. So hygroscopic water sticks tightly to soil particles, so the plant roots cannot absorb it. For example, even dry soil contains hygroscopic water, but plants still wilt. Capillary water. It is held in thin and narrow capillaries. This is the chemical, or you can say available water utilized by the plants. Means capillary water moves slowly through soil pores. It is the most important water for plants. This is the water farmers aim to maintain the soil. Gravitational water. It percolates deep into the soil, not available to plants. Excess water drains downwards due to gravity. It washes away nutrients. Over irrigation leads to nutrient loss. Field capacity. It is the water held after internal drainage has stopped. So field capacity is equal to ideal soil moisture, and it is the best condition for plant growth. Then soil profile. A soil profile shows vertical layers formed over the time. O horizon, organic matter. It contains dead leaves and organic debris. It is rich in nutrients. A horizon, it is the topsoil mineral horizon, which is rich in humus and dark in color. It is the most fertile layer. Roots grow here and it has maximum biological activity. B horizon, subsoil. Minerals leach down from A horizon and it has less organic matter. C horizon, it is the parent rock. It consists of broken rock fragments. Beginning stage of soil formation occurs here. R horizon, bedrock. It is solid rock. Here no plant growth occurs. Soil erosion. It is the loss of fertile topsoil which reduces the soil productivity and causes land degradation. So this is the process of detachment of soil particles, their transportation from one place to another and deposition elsewhere. So what happens actually? The soil particles, they break loose, they move by wind or water and they settle at another place. You can see in this visual box this. So first is detachment. You can see raindrops hit the soil surface, soil particles will loosen. Then second, transportation. Water or wind carries the particle away. Then third, deposition. Soil settles when force decreases, which results in silting of the rivers. So key factors include rainfall. Heavy rain increases erosion, vegetation destruction. Roots bind the soil. Without plants, soil erodes easily. Thawing. Freezing and melting loosens soil particles. Water flow. Fast moving water removes soil quickly. Topography. Steep slopes leads to more soil erosion. Soil characteristics. Loose sandy soil erodes faster. So next is air and atmosphere. So Earth is surrounded by the air and this air layer is called atmosphere. Atmosphere is most dense at the surface of the Earth because gravity pulls the molecule of gas towards the center of the Earth. Means gravity pulls the air downwards, so air pressure also decreases with altitude. The atmosphere is divided based on temperature changes with altitude. Troposphere. Clouds and precipitation occur here. Means all the weather phenomena takes place here and it contains water vapor. Temperature decreases with altitude. Average lapse rate of 6.5 degrees Celsius per kilometer. You mean to say at higher altitude, colder air would be there. It contains more than 80% of atmospheric mass. Means most of the air is near Earth's surface. Stratosphere. Temperature increases with altitude due to ozone absorbing UV rays present here. It contains the thin ozone layer which protects the light from harmful radiation. Mesosphere. It is the coldest part of Earth's atmosphere. Around minus 90 degrees Celsius temperature is here. Here the temperature drops sharply. Meteors burn here. Thermosphere. Temperature rises beyond 1000 degrees Celsius. Over here, high energy solar radiation is present. It contains the ionosphere, which is a dense band of charged particles. It reflects radio waves and is important for communication. outermost layer is the exosphere. It merges into outer space and satellites orbit here. Okay, so this heading, What's in the Air, it introduces the composition of the atmosphere, that is, which gases are present in air and in what proportion. Clean air is air without dust, smoke, or pollutants. Dry air is air without water vapor. So, this composition is taken under standard conditions for scientific study. Nitrogen, it is the largest component of air. It is relatively inactive. It dilutes oxygen and prevents rapid combustion. For example, if air had more oxygen, fires would start very easily. Oxygen 20.946, it supports respiration in living organisms. It is essential for burning and energy release. Humans and animals breathe oxygen, and fire cannot burn without oxygen. Argon, it is an inert gas, means chemically inactive. It does not play a direct biological role. Carbon dioxide, though it is present in small amount, it is very important. Plants use it for photosynthesis. It helps maintain Earth's temperature. Greenhouse effect. If carbon dioxide increases too much, it will lead to global warming. And then other gases which are present in the trace amounts includes neon, helium, methane, ozone, etc. Though they are present in very small quantities, some have important effects. Now, environmental factor. First, light. It is a form of energy that travels as waves and particles. Then visible spectrum is 400 to 700 nanometer. This range is called photosynthetically active radiation. Plants can use only this light for photosynthesis. Other radiations include UV, infrared, gamma rays. UV rays, they are harmful in large amounts. Gamma rays are highly energetic and harmful. Solar insolation means the amount of solar energy which is received by the Earth's surface. It varies with latitude. Latitude determines the angle of sunlight. Sunlight is direct near equator and slanting near poles. So next is effect on plants. So it will tell us how light affects the plant life. So first is photosynthesis. That plants use light energy to make food from carbon dioxide and water. Without sunlight, plants cannot survive. Growth and flowering. Light affects plant height, leaf size, time of flowering. Light quality. Different colors of light have different effects. Blue and red light are absorbed. Green light is reflected. That's why plants look green. Duration of light, photoperiod. So photoperiod is equal to length of day and night. Plants are classified as short day plants, long day plants, day nutrient plants. For example, rice is a short day plant and wheat is a long day plant. Temperature, it is the degree of hotness or coldness of the environment. It affects physiological processes. Temperature affects enzyme activity, metabolism, growth rate. For example, cold-blooded animals slow down in winter. Factors influencing temperature, latitude. At higher latitude, temperature is lower. Near equator, temperature is higher. Then altitude, temperature decreases with altitude. It decreases with height. This is why mountains are cold. Vegetation, forest reduces the temperature, whereas bare land heats up faster. Then movement of the earth. Earth spins on its axis, causes day and night. Then revolution, earth moves around the sun, which causes seasons. Then earth's axis is tilted, it is not straight, and this tilt causes unequal heating of the hemisphere. This tilt is responsible for seasonal variations. When one hemisphere gets direct sunlight, then over there it would be summer, and other hemisphere gets slanting rays, over there it would be winter. Okay, so reason for the seasons. This title tells students that why different seasons occur on Earth. Seasons are not caused by distance from the sun, but it is caused by the Earth's tilt and revolution. Now you can see the diagram showing Earth at different positions around the sun. Now this diagram, it shows Earth moving around the sun during 1 year. At different positions, different parts of Earth receives different amounts of sunlight. So first is summer solstice, 21st June. Solstice means sun stands still. On 21st June, the northern hemisphere is tilted towards the sun. Sun's rays fall directly on the Tropic of Cancer, resulting in the longest day and shortest night. Summer season in northern hemisphere. India experiences peak summer in June. Then winter solstice, 21st December. On 21st December, the northern hemisphere is tilted away from the sun. Sun's rays fall directly on the Tropic of Capricorn. So effect would be shortest day, longest night, and winter season in northern hemisphere. Vernal equinox, 21st March. Equinox means equal night. So at this time, day and night are equal everywhere on the earth. Sun's rays fall directly on the equator. So effect would be beginning of spring season. Then autumnal equinox, 23 September. Again, day and night are equal. It marks the beginning of autumn. So important things you need to remember: seasons occur due to Earth's axial tilt, that is 23.4 degree. Earth's revolution around the sun. Distance from the sun remains almost constant. Temperature, altitude, and vegetation. So this title indicates how temperature changes with height and how this affects the plant distribution. So temperature decreases with altitude. As the height increases, air becomes thinner. Less heat is retained. So average lapse rate is 6.5 degrees Celsius per 1000 meter. This affects the distribution of vegetation. Different plants grow at different temperature ranges. So vegetation categories: megatherms. These are the plants which are adapted to high temperatures. They are found in tropical regions. For example, coconut, rubber, tropical rainforest. Mesotherm. These are the plants adapted to moderate temperatures. For example, wheat, rice, deciduous forest. Microtherms. These are the plants which are adapted to low temperatures. Example, pine, fir, coniferous forest. Hecistotherms. These are the plants which are adapted to extremely cold conditions. Example, mosses, lichens, alpine vegetation. Weather, it refers to the short-term atmospheric conditions. For example, what is today's temperature? What is today's rainfall? So this is weather. Climate, it refers to long-term average weather conditions of a place, usually over 30 to 35 years. So weather changes daily, climate remains relatively stable. Okay, adaptation to the physical environment means how organisms adjust to environmental conditions in order to survive. Adaptation, it is a genetically determined trait that improves the ability of an organism to survive and reproduce in a particular environment. So genetically determined means passed from the parents to offspring. Improves survival means help organisms live longer. improves reproduction, helps organisms produce offspring. So adaptation is a long-term evolutionary process, means it developed over many generations through natural selection. Then types of the adaptation: structural adaptation. These are the physical features of the body, like for example, thick fur in polar bears, long roots in desert plants. Then physiological adaptation, for it means internal body processes, for example, CAM pathway in cactus, production of concentrated urine in desert animals. Behavioral adaptation means changes in the behavior. Examples: migration of birds, nocturnal habits in the desert animals. Then adaptation versus acclimatization. So adaptation is permanent, genetic, and it is seen in populations. For example, giraffes' long neck. Acclimatization, it is temporary, physiological, and is seen in individuals. Example, humans producing RBCs at high altitude. Adaptation in action. So first is plant adaptation. Plants cannot move from one place to another. Therefore, they must develop structural and physiological adaptations to survive in difficult environments. So first is ephemerals. So these are the plants that complete their life cycle in a very short time. They grow, flower, and produce seeds quickly when water is available. After that, they die, leaving seeds behind. So why this is an adaptation? They avoid harsh conditions like drought. For example, desert grasses, some weeds after rainfall. Then second is succulents. Succulents are the plants that store water in their thick leaves, stems, or roots. They survive long dry periods using the stored water. Structural adaptation includes the thick fleshy tissues. Physiological adaptation includes CAM photosynthesis, that is, stomata open at night. Examples include cactus, aloe vera, agave. Non-succulent xerophytes, also known as drought resistant, so they live in dry environment but they do not store water. Instead, they reduce water loss. Adaptation include small leaves or spines, thick cuticle, sunken stomata. Example, acacia and pine. Animal adaptations: homeothermic animals or warm-blooded animals. These animals maintain a constant body temperature regardless of environment. They produce heat internally. Advantages include they can live in cold regions, they are active in all the seasons. Example, birds, mammals. Then poikilothermic animals or cold-blooded animals. Their body temperature changes with the environmental temperature and they depend on external heat sources. But the limitations are that they are less active in cold conditions. Example of such animals include fish, frogs, lizards. Rules of animal adaptation. So endothermic versus ectothermic. Endothermic animals generate heat internally. They maintain constant body temperature. Examples include birds and mammals. Ectothermic animals, body temperature depends on environment. They use behavioral methods like sunbasking. Examples include reptiles, amphibians. Ecological rules. Bergman's rule. Animals in colder regions tend to have larger body size than those in the warmer regions because larger body leads to smaller surface area compared to the volume, lesser heat losses. For example, polar bear have large body, tropical bear have smaller one. Allen's rule. Animals in cold climates have shorter ears, tails, and limbs. Shorter appendages reduces the heat loss. Examples: Arctic fox have short ears, whereas desert fox have long ears. Then Hess's rule: animals in colder regions have larger hearts. Larger heart pumps more blood and helps maintain the body temperature. Ford's law of tolerance. So this law explains that every organism can survive only within a specific range of environmental conditions. And distribution of species depend on tolerance range, means each species has limits for temperature, light, water, salinity, etc. Outside this range, survival is difficult or impossible. So first is, let's understand the diagram. Zone of intolerance. Environmental conditions are too extreme here and organisms cannot survive. For example, fish die in extremely hot water. Then zone of physiological stress. Organism survives here but is stressed. Growth and reproduction are poor. Optimum range, best conditions for survival, growth and reproduction. And population size is maximum here. Ecological amplitude, the total range of tolerance of a species. Species with wide amplitude are widely distributed. For examples, humans have wider tolerance, coral reefs have narrow tolerance.